Alright, welcome back to the second installment of the Defiler on Parade Rule System, or DP for short. This is going to take a look at the combat system and how it works. What do we have going on? Well, we have two pesky little Prussian units that have worked their way within firing and melee range of a couple French line units and a foot artillery unit. How do we resolve combat? Alright. First, we must assume a few things. The first assumption is that this unit will be firing at this unit. The second assumption is that this unit has a unit strength of 4 and that he is in line formation. The final assumption consists of this unit being in column. And he is in column because he has just moved. And within these rules systems, if you move, you are in column. If you're in line, you cannot move. So as he has just moved, he is in column. So how do we resolve this? We're going to head over here to the combat to hit number generator. Fancy name for a simple thing. We determine if we are firing or conducting melee. Well, we're firing, so we will add the fire value of this unit, which is a +1 for a line infantry unit. What is the unit strength? Well, as already mentioned, we assumed, right, that the unit strength is 4. So there's that. And finally, we get our rank bonus for firing at, go to rank bonus here, firing at our target, which is in column, and that is a 2. If we add all these together, we get a 7. What do we do with that 7? Well, simply we roll 2 dice 6. And once again, for purposes of this example, we'll assume we rolled a 7. Is that good or bad? Well, anything, the lower we get, the better. And as we needed to roll equal or less than our to hit number, which was what? Remember, a 7. We did that by rolling a 7, and we got a hit. Now, what is the extent of damage we've inflicted? Well, we take our 2 dice, and hopefully you have rolled those dice, and they consist of 1 white die and 1 colored die. You rolled a 7. That's all you need to do. You look at the red die or the colored die result, and we have rolled a 3. So we look at the combat results, and we check the 3. That is a remove strength point. That's what the X represents. So this Prussian unit will lose 1 strength point, dropping from a 4 to a 3 strength. That's firing. Let's look at melee. Similar but different. Let's assume this unit here wants to conduct melee against this unit here. We will assume that this unit is in column. We will also assume that his strength is a 4. Now let's assume that this unit is in line, and we'll resolve combat. So we head over here to our combat to hit number generator. We check our, in this case, melee value, and the melee value for this infantry in line is 0. Then we check the unit strength, which is a 4. And we check our rank bonuses. Now here's where we diverge from firing, and we'll look at this section here, melee. And for our rank bonuses, as the attacker in column, we have a +2 versus our defender who is in line, which is a -1. So we take 1 from 2 to get 1. We add those together to get a 5. That is our to hit number. And then we take our 2 dice 6 and roll them up. And once again, for purposes of this example, let's assume we rolled a 3. 3 is equal or less than 5, so we got a hit. We check our colored die, which in this case is a 1. We head to the combat results section, look at the 1, and see that we have inflicted 1 step loss. They are now panicked, and they will retreat 1 hex or 4 inches back away from the firing unit Additionally, if there was an attached commander, the commander would be wounded, and if the commander was already wounded, he would be eliminated. That is melee in a nutshell. And then finally, let's do one last example with this foot artillery unit. And he will be firing at this line unit, which we will assume is in column. And to go back, we will assume that the firing strength, the unit strength rather, of this foot artillery unit is a 3. How do we determine the fire effect? Well, again, we need to generate our hit number. And to do that, we simply look at, once again, our fire value. And a bit different for this foot artillery unit because he has varying fire values depending on the range from his target. As he is 2 hexes away, we look at the firing value for foot artillery at 2 hexes, and that is a 4. So we add 4 to our unit strength of 3. Then we look at our rank bonus. We are firing, so our rank bonus is our targets only is what we look at for our target. And as he is in column, that is also a +2. What is our to hit number? There are no terrain bonuses, so we will ignore that. It is 7, 8, 9. We must roll 9 or less to inflict a hit on this unit here. Rolling our pesky dice, we get a 6. And when we look at our colored die, we see the result is, let's do it this way. Let's say that the colored die is a 5. We have inflicted a +2 morale check on this unit. As this is an infantry unit, his morale is 7. And we will roll 2 dice, attempting to get 7 or less, but adding +2 to the die roll. If he fails, that unit then becomes panicked. If he passes, there is no effect. That is combat in a nutshell. One other thing I would add is in melee, if I had, I don't remember if I mentioned this, if I had an attached, say this commander, attached to this French unit that was attacking this Prussian line unit in melee, we would get a 2 bonus. That -2 is actually a +2 that we would add to our hit number generator, and that would be help form our to hit number. The negative aspect of this 2 comes into play during morale checks, in which this -2 would work as a die roll modifier, which we'll get into that in rallying and morale. That is essentially combat. I hope that makes sense to you guys, and I'll talk to you next time.